Well, if you're just joining us, the nation has delivered an all-night victim impact statement. Labour has won a landslide and the Conservatives have suffered their worst ever general election result. Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister, has promised national renewal. To fight until you believe again. Liz Truss has failed to save Southwest Norfolk, let alone the West. That is the big picture, if not the whole picture, with turnout and Labour's vote share notably low. Meanwhile, it's incredible to think that only a short while ago we thought we'd eradicated measles and Nigel Farage. Both have now been brought back, largely by the same people. But look, after the 3 a.m. to 7 a.m. shift, no one will be able to say the right doesn't do comedy. There were moments worthy of entire Netflix specials, as in sports halls and community centers, various Dickensian grotesques were ushered into their Christmas future, live on stage. Alas, it was going to take more than buying the Cratchits a turkey to get out of this one. Jacob Rees-Mogg heard his fate standing next to a candidate wearing a baked bean balaclava. He'll be crying into Nanny's starched bosom today. Committed sewage apologist Therese Coffey was pumped into the sea in Suffolk Coastal. Andrea Jenkins had the middle finger given to her by the voters of Morley and Outwood. In Welwyn Hatfield, Grant Shapps chanted supermajority 5 times into the mirror, and then it came for him. Then again, Michael Portillo losing his seat was supposedly 1997's big moment. So perhaps the question is, in 2 years' time, which current hate figure will be presenting a cozy travelogue on Europe's most picturesque illegal migration routes? Alternatively, do remember that one person's onstage humiliation is another person's milk ground for directorships in the arms trade. Speaking of absolute weapons, had Twad George Galloway wimped out of his own count in Rochdale, presumably out of fatigability. He lost to Labour. There was jubilation for the Lib Dems, who finished not a million miles behind the natural party of government, and for the Greens, who won all 4 of their target seats. The SNP can now squeeze its MPS round the flip-down dining table of a motorhome. RFERENDUM arguments may move to Northern Ireland, with Sinn Féin now that nation's largest Westminster party. As for reform, Farage won in Clacton, a constituency for which he will now have to hold surgeries, presumably by Zoom link from his hot desk in the U.S. presidential colon. Or as he put it in his victory speech, this is the first steps of something that is going to stun all of you, at least confirming his political abattoir will be bolt-gunning its victims unconscious first. Farage is the horror version of Inside Out, where mendacity is only just holding off racism at the control console. His cultural hinterland extends to a single goodbye, Mr. Chips DVD he got free with the Sunday Times in 2008. And the idea that this hollow chancer should still be one of the most significant politicians of the age says everything about the age. Anyway, back to the Conservatives for our in memoriam reel. Penny Mordaunt, Jonathan Gullis, Michael Fabricant, Gillian Keegan, Steve Baker, Alex Chuck, Johnny Mercer, Michelle Donnellan, Victoria Prentice, Liam Fox, Mark Harper. All out, along with many more. So many cabinet ministers fell that the ones who live may actually develop survivor guilt. It's currently unclear how gruesome things will be among the extant Conservatives in this post-apocalyptic world. As a fictional president once wondered of Dr. Strangelove, will the living not end up envying the dead? Far from it, Strangelove reassures him, forcing down an involuntary Nazi salute. What will abound is a spirit of bold curiosity for the adventure ahead. Speaking of which, 13th Fairy Suella Braverman finally turned up, holding on in Ferrum and cooing. I am sorry that my party didn't listen to you. The Conservative Party has let you down. Expect to see her humbly attempting to disembowel fellow survivors Jeremy Hunt and James Cleverly in the forthcoming trial by combat for what convention demands we style as the soul of the Conservative Party.